Welcome back, everyone. Today, we're counting down the top 4 most valuable United Kingdom halfpenny coins. These fascinating coins have become highly desirable among collectors because of their different years, mint varieties, historical importance, condition, and rarity. While millions of halfpennies were once produced for everyday use, only a small number of exceptional examples, rare dates, and high-grade specimens now command impressive prices at auctions. Whether you are a beginner coin collector or an experienced numismatist, this countdown will introduce you to 4 remarkable British halfpennies that have attracted attention in the collector market. Let's get started. First up, the fascinating United Kingdom halfpenny dated 1849, a coin that has survived for well over 175 years. Even when found in dirty, heavily circulated, or worn condition, this historic copper coin continues to attract collectors from around the world. But is an 1849 halfpenny actually rare? Could a worn example still be worth real money? And how much have collectors paid for exceptional specimens at auctions? Stay with us as we explore the history, unique features, rarity, collector demand, and current auction market value of this remarkable Victorian coin in US dollars. The 1849 United Kingdom halfpenny was issued during the reign of Queen Victoria, one of the longest reigning monarchs in British history. The Victorian era was a period of tremendous industrial growth, expanding trade, and major social change across Britain and its empire. During this time, the halfpenny played a vital role in everyday life. It was used for small purchases such as bread, newspapers, postage, and other inexpensive goods. Millions of these coins circulated throughout towns and villages, passing through countless hands over many decades. The coin was struck in copper, a durable metal suitable for everyday commerce. Because it was used so extensively, most surviving examples today show heavy wear, scratches, corrosion, or environmental damage. Finding one in pristine condition is much more difficult than finding a worn or dirty example, making high-grade coins especially desirable among collectors. The obverse of the 1849 halfpenny features the famous young head portrait of Queen Victoria wearing a simple hairstyle with a ribbon. Around the portrait is the Latin inscription identifying her as Queen. This elegant portrait remains one of the most recognizable designs in British numismatic history. The reverse displays the seated figure of Britannia holding a trident and shield, symbolizing Britain's strength and naval power. A lighthouse and a ship appear in the background, representing maritime trade and the nation's global influence during the Victorian era. Below Britannia is the date 1849, making it easy to identify the year of issue. The coin measures approximately 28 mm in diameter and was struck in copper. Despite its simple appearance, the detailed artwork and historical symbolism make it a favorite among collectors of British coins. Many people assume that because an 1849 halfpenny is old, every example must be extremely valuable. In reality, age alone does not determine rarity. The 1849 issue had a substantial production, so worn examples are still encountered today. However, condition plays a major role in determining value. A dirty or heavily circulated coin generally has lower collector value than a well-preserved specimen. Dirt, corrosion, scratches, cleaning, rim damage, and environmental exposure can all reduce its desirability. Nevertheless, collectors often purchase these coins because they represent an important piece of Victorian history and provide an affordable way to own a coin that is more than a century and a half old. If a dirty coin still has readable details, a clear date, and attractive original surfaces beneath the dirt, it may attract more interest than severely damaged examples. Collectors also appreciate coins with natural aging rather than harsh cleaning, as original surfaces are generally preferred in the numismatic market. Rare varieties, unusual die errors, or exceptionally well-preserved examples are much scarcer and can command significantly higher prices than ordinary circulated pieces. So, what is the 1849 United Kingdom halfpenny worth today? A heavily worn, dirty, or damaged example with a readable date typically sells for around $5 to $20 coins in average. Circulated condition with better detail often sell between $20 and $60. Very fine examples with stronger design details frequently bring $75 to $150. Extremely fine coins can sell for approximately $200 to $500, depending on eye appeal and originality. Uncirculated examples with exceptional preservation may sell for $800 to over $2,000 at major auctions if the coin is a rare variety, has an unusual minting error, or possesses extraordinary preservation with original red or brown color. Auction prices can climb even higher. Exceptional museum quality examples have achieved several thousand US dollars in competitive bidding, although such coins are extremely rare. Keep in mind that auction values change depending on collector demand, grading, rarity, and the overall condition of the individual coin. If you own an 1849 halfpenny, the first thing you should do is avoid cleaning it. Cleaning may seem like a good idea, but it can permanently damage the original surface and reduce the coin's value. Collectors usually prefer coins with natural aging rather than polished or artificially bright surfaces. Store the coin in a protective holder or archival quality flip to prevent additional wear and corrosion. Handle it only by the edges to avoid leaving fingerprints on the surface. Compare your coin with professionally graded examples to estimate its condition accurately. Look carefully for any unusual die varieties, errors, or distinctive features that could increase its value. If you believe your coin is in unusually high grade or has a rare variety, consider submitting it to a professional grading service. Authentication and grading can increase buyer confidence and may improve its auction performance. Finally, monitor recent auction sales rather than relying on asking prices, since completed sales provide the most realistic indication of current market value. The United Kingdom halfpenny of 1849 is far more than just an old copper coin. It is a remarkable survivor from the Victorian era, carrying over 175 years of history. Next up, the United Kingdom halfpenny dated 1837. Even if your coin is scratched, worn, stained, bent, or heavily circulated, you might be surprised to learn that collectors still value these nearly 2-century-old coins. In this video, we'll explore the history of the 1837 halfpenny, its unique design features, how rare it is in damaged condition, what collectors are willing to pay at auctions, and tips to help you determine whether your coin could be worth more than you think. So stay with us until the end, because this old copper coin has an interesting story and a market that continues to attract collectors from around the world. The 1837 halfpenny is one of the final copper halfpenny issues of the reign of King William IV. The year 1837 is especially significant in British history because it marked the end of William IV's reign. After his death in June 1837, Queen Victoria ascended the throne and began one of the most famous reigns in British history. Because of this historical transition, coins dated 1837 have become particularly interesting to collectors. These halfpennies were struck in copper and circulated widely throughout the United Kingdom during a period of rapid industrial growth and expanding trade. Millions were produced for everyday use, but after nearly 190 years, many examples have been lost, damaged, melted, or worn beyond recognition, making surviving pieces increasingly desirable. The obverse of the 1837 halfpenny features the portrait of King William IV facing right, surrounded by a Latin inscription identifying him as the King of Britain. The reverse displays the famous seated figure of Britannia holding a trident and shield, with the date 1837 below. The coin is made of copper and has a rich brown color when well preserved, although many circulated examples have become dark, greenish, or uneven due to oxidation over time. Collectors carefully examine the sharpness of the portrait, the details in Britannia's robes, the shield, the trident, and the rim. Even in damaged condition, these features help authenticate the coin and determine its collector value point. One of the biggest questions collectors ask is whether a damaged 1837 halfpenny still has value. The answer is yes. Although damage such as corrosion, scratches, cleaning marks, bends, rim dents, or heavy wear significantly lowers the value compared with high-grade examples, the coin still attracts interest because of its age and historical importance. Collectors of British copper coins often seek affordable examples to complete date collections, while beginners appreciate damaged coins because they cost much less than mint-state pieces. Since many surviving 1837 halfpennies have experienced decades of circulation, finding one in perfect condition is extremely difficult. This keeps collector demand alive, even for lower-grade specimens. Now let's talk about auction and market prices. A heavily damaged or very worn 1837 halfpenny generally sells for around $5 to $20, depending on how much detail remains visible. A coin with moderate wear but no major structural damage may bring $20 to $60. Fine condition examples often sell for $60 to $150, while extremely fine coins can reach $200 to $500. Rare high-grade uncirculated examples with excellent original surfaces have achieved prices ranging from $1,000 to over $3,000 at major coin auctions, especially when certified by professional grading services. The exact value always depends on authenticity, eye appeal, rarity, and current collector demand, so auction prices can vary from one sale to another. If you own an 1837 halfpenny, never clean or polish it, even if it looks dirty or rusty. Cleaning can permanently reduce its value because collectors prefer original surfaces. Store the coin in a protective holder or archival quality flip to prevent further damage. Compare your coin with authenticated examples, paying close attention to the date, lettering, portrait, and Britannia design. If you believe your coin has unusually sharp details or an attractive appearance despite its age, consider having it authenticated and graded by a professional coin grading company. Also remember that auction prices change over time as collector demand increases or decreases, so checking recent auction results is always a smart idea before buying or selling. The United Kingdom 1837 halfpenny is much more than just an old copper coin. It represents the closing chapter of King William IV's reign and the beginning of a new era that would soon be defined by Queen Victoria. Even in damaged condition, this historic coin remains collectible because of its age, historical significance, and steady demand among British coin enthusiasts. While heavily worn examples may only be worth a few dollars, well-preserved pieces can sell for hundreds or even thousands of dollars at major auctions. If you happen to own one of these historic halfpennies, take the time to examine it carefully. You could be holding a fascinating piece of British history with real collector value. Next up, the United Kingdom 1914 halfpenny. At first glance, a coin in very bad condition may seem to have little or no value. It may be heavily worn, scratched, darkened, bent, or damaged after more than a century of circulation. However, when it comes to old coins, age, historical importance, rarity, and collector demand can still make even a heavily worn example worth keeping. In this video, we'll explore the history of the 1914 halfpenny, its unique features, how rare it is in poor condition, its current auction market value in US dollars, and some useful tips for collectors. So stay with us until the end because you might discover that an old coin sitting in a drawer could still have collectible value. The 1914 United Kingdom halfpenny was issued during the reign of King George V, one of Britain's most recognized monarchs. The coin entered circulation just as the world was entering one of the most significant periods in modern history, the beginning of the First World War. Because of this, every surviving 1914 halfpenny represents a small piece of history from more than 110 years ago. Halfpennies were essential coins in everyday British commerce. They were commonly used for purchasing inexpensive goods, paying fares, and making small transactions. Millions of these coins circulated throughout the United Kingdom, and many became heavily worn after years of use. As a result, finding a 1914 halfpenny in excellent condition is much more difficult than finding one that has seen decades of circulation. The obverse of the 1914 halfpenny features the portrait of King George V wearing the imperial state crown. Around the portrait is the Latin inscription identifying him as King of Great Britain and Emperor of India. Despite heavy wear, many collectors can still recognize the king's profile and some of the surrounding lettering. The reverse displays the famous image of Britannia seated with a trident and shield, symbolizing Britain's naval strength and national identity. The denomination halfpenny and the date 1914 appear below Britannia. On coins in very bad condition, much of this design may be worn smooth, but if the date remains visible, the coin still holds interest for collectors. The coin was struck in bronze and measures approximately 25 mm in diameter, making it one of the larger bronze coins of its era. Even damaged examples remain popular among collectors who enjoy assembling complete date sets of British halfpennies. The 1914 halfpenny is not considered one of the rarest dates in the entire halfpenny series because millions were originally produced. However, more than a century has passed since these coins were minted. Many have been lost, melted, or damaged beyond recognition. A coin in very bad condition is generally not rare by itself, but it still appeals to beginning collectors, history enthusiasts, and people looking to complete affordable collections. Collectors usually prefer coins with clear dates and identifiable designs. If your coin still shows the year 1914 and enough detail to confirm authenticity, it can still attract buyers. Coins with unusual minting errors, off-center strikes, double strikes, or other mint varieties can command much higher prices, regardless of wear. Therefore, it is always worth examining an old halfpenny carefully before assuming it has little value. Now let's discuss what collectors may actually pay for a 1914 halfpenny in very bad condition. A heavily worn or damaged 1914 halfpenny with a readable date generally sells for around $1 to $5. Coins with severe corrosion, bends, holes, or heavy cleaning often remain at the lower end of this range. Examples with slightly better detail, even if still classified as poor or very good circulated condition, may sell for approximately $5 to $15. Depending on eye appeal and collector demand, high-grade uncirculated examples are much scarcer and can bring $80 to several hundred US at specialist auctions, especially if they display original mint luster and exceptional preservation. If a rare mint error or unusual variety is discovered on a genuine 1914 halfpenny, auction prices can climb significantly higher, with exceptional examples sometimes reaching several $100s or more. As always, actual selling prices depend on the coin's condition, authenticity, market demand, and the auction platform where it is offered. If you own a 1914 halfpenny, never clean it with chemicals, polish, or abrasive materials. Cleaning can permanently damage the coin's surface and reduce its collector value. Store the coin in a protective holder or archival quality coin flip to prevent additional wear. Handle it only by the edges whenever possible. Carefully inspect the date, lettering, and overall design under good lighting. Look for unusual minting characteristics or errors that could increase its value. Compare your coin with certified examples from reputable auction houses before deciding to sell. If you believe your coin has unusual features, consider having it authenticated and graded by a professional coin grading service. Remember that historical significance often makes even low-grade coins enjoyable additions to a collection. The United Kingdom 1914 halfpenny in very bad condition may not be a high-value rarity, but it remains an important collectible because of its age, historical connection to the reign of King George V, and its place in British numismatic history. Most heavily worn examples are worth between $1 and $5, while nicer circulated pieces can bring higher prices. Rare errors or exceptional varieties may be worth considerably more. Every old coin tells a story, and the 1914 halfpenny is no exception. Whether you collect British coins, enjoy historical artifacts, or simply inherited an old collection, this century-old coin deserves a closer look before being overlooked. Next up, the United Kingdom halfpenny dated 1891. Even though the coin we're discussing today is in very dirty and heavily circulated condition, it still attracts the attention of coin collectors around the world. Many people assume that old, worn, or dirty coins have no value, but that isn't always true. Age, historical importance, rarity, and collector demand can make even a well-used coin worth more than its face value. In this video, we'll explore the history of the 1891 halfpenny, its unique design, how rarity affects its value, what collectors think about heavily circulated examples, and the current auction market value in US dollars. So, stay with us until the end because this old coin may be more valuable than you expect. The 1891 United Kingdom halfpenny was struck during the reign of Queen Victoria, one of Britain's longest-serving and most influential monarchs. By 1891, the British Empire had become one of the largest empires in world history, and British coins circulated across many parts of the world. The halfpenny was an everyday coin used by ordinary people to buy food, newspapers, transportation, and other necessities. Millions of these coins changed hands daily, which explains why many surviving examples are heavily worn today. The coin was produced at the Royal Mint using bronze, a durable metal alloy introduced for British pennies and halfpennies during the Victorian era. Although a large number of 1891 halfpennies were minted, many were eventually lost, melted, or damaged after decades of circulation. Today, collectors appreciate these coins not only for their age but also because they represent a fascinating period in British history. The obverse of the 1891 halfpenny features the famous portrait of Queen Victoria, wearing her Jubilee crown and veil. Around her portrait appears the traditional Latin inscription identifying her as Queen of Great Britain and Empress of India. This elegant portrait remains one of the most recognizable designs in British numismatics. The reverse displays the seated figure of Britannia, holding a trident while resting beside a shield bearing the Union flag. A lighthouse and a ship appear in the background, symbolizing Britain's powerful naval heritage and maritime dominance. The denomination halfpenny and the year 1891 appear clearly below Britannia. The coin measures approximately 25 millimeters in diameter and weighs about 5.67 grams. It is composed of bronze, giving it a rich brown color when preserved. However, after more than a century of circulation, many examples develop heavy dirt, dark toning, corrosion, or environmental staining. Although the 1891 halfpenny is not considered one of the rarest Victorian bronze coins, finding attractive examples becomes increasingly difficult because many spent decades in circulation. A coin in very dirty condition usually has heavy discoloration, worn details, scratches, and accumulated grime. While such a condition lowers its value compared to well-preserved examples, collectors still buy these coins if the date and major design elements remain visible. Collectors often purchase very worn Victorian coins to complete date collections without spending large amounts of money. Beginners especially appreciate affordable examples because they allow them to own genuine 19th century British coins. If the coin has an unusual minting error, exceptional toning, or historical provenance, its value can increase significantly despite its poor appearance. One important tip is never to clean an old coin aggressively. Cleaning often removes the natural surface and can permanently reduce collector value. Most experienced numismatists prefer original surfaces, even if the coin appears dirty. The value of an 1891 United Kingdom halfpenny depends greatly on its condition, eye appeal, and whether any rare minting varieties are present. A very dirty, heavily circulated example generally sells for around $2 to $8. If the coin has readable details and no major damage beyond normal wear, collectors may pay $8 to $15 USD. Coins in fine condition often bring $20 to $40 while very fine examples can sell for $50 to $90. Extremely fine pieces usually achieve $100 to $180, and brilliant uncirculated specimens frequently sell for $250 to over $500, depending on color, luster, and certification. Rare error coins or exceptional auction quality examples have occasionally sold for even higher prices, especially when certified by professional grading companies and offered through major international auctions. However, for most very dirty circulated coins, values remain modest unless a rare variety or error is discovered. If you own an 1891 halfpenny, start by examining the date carefully under good lighting. Make sure the date is clearly visible and check for any unusual minting characteristics. Weigh the coin if possible, compare it with official specifications, and inspect both sides for cracks, doubled lettering, or striking errors. Avoid polishing or scrubbing the coin, as this can permanently reduce its collector appeal. Store it in a protective coin holder or archival flip to prevent additional wear. If you believe your coin has unusually sharp details or a possible mint error, consider submitting it to a professional grading service for authentication. Certified coins often attract stronger interest at auctions because buyers have confidence in their authenticity and condition. Keeping track of recent auction results is another excellent habit. Coin prices can change over time as collector demand increases or decreases. The United Kingdom 1891 halfpenny is a wonderful reminder of the Victorian era and Britain's rich numismatic history. Although a very dirty circulated example is generally worth only a few dollars, its historical significance makes it a fascinating collectible. Every scratch and worn detail tells the story of a coin that circulated through everyday life more than 130 years ago. If you enjoyed learning about the 1891 halfpenny, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications so you never miss another rare coin value update. Leave a comment below telling us whether you own this Victorian halfpenny or any other historic British coins. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.